Hello, thank you for your interest in the UDL scan tool. Today I'm going to show you how to use it. So, now that you've got the UDL scan tool pulled up, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a new copy of the tool. That way your data doesn't get mixed up with anyone else's. So, the first thing you're going to do is navigate to File, and then go to Make a Copy. And you can name this whatever you'd like. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to leave the name as the default copy of UDL tool. Go ahead and push OK. Now, Google should open up a new tab with your copy of the tool. You can go ahead and close the old copy now, and make sure that you're working in the copy of UDL tool. Okay, once we're sure that we're working in the copy, what we're going to do is we're going to take the tool. So go ahead and click on View Live Form. Alright, so this is the UDL scan tool. Here's an introduction. For this video we won't read through it, but please read that in your own time. So this very first page is some descriptive information about the system and the lesson that you're going to be reviewing with the scan tool. So that information would be filled in these boxes and via the checkboxes below. For the sake of this video, I'm going to put in some sort of default test information just to fill out these forms so that we can continue. So these fields will ask things about what system you're on, what browser you're using, the scope of your scan, the type of lesson you're reviewing, the title of the specific module that you're reviewing, and a brief description of it, the grade level that the lesson you're reviewing is appropriate for, and then this last question is whether or not the product you're reviewing is linked to a standard. That could be a Common Core standard or a state standard or some other form of standard. If you know that information, go ahead and enter it, and then push continue. Alright, so the very first question of the actual survey is going to ask you this. Does your tool offer ways of customizing the display of information? Specifically, does the product include any selectable text? So, a feature of this tool is that depending on how you answer a question, you may receive follow-up questions. That is, if I say yes to this question about whether or not there is selectable text, and then push continue, the system will ask me a follow-up question about the type of selectable text there is. So, am I allowed to select text depicting primary content, descriptive text of images, audio transcripts, and so on? Of course, I can answer any of these in the affirmative, the negative, say that I don't know, or say that they're not applicable to the software I'm reviewing. Now, just for illustration's sake, if we go back and we push no on this question, indicating that the program does not include selectable text, then we won't receive that same follow-up question that you just saw before. Okay, so that's just one feature I want you to know about. As you work through the survey, obviously you're going to want to answer things that are true of the system you're reviewing, but depending on whether you answer yes or no will determine the actual length of the tool survey. That is, the more answers of yes you have, the more follow-up questions it'll ask you in order to get more detailed information. So go ahead and answer the rest of the questions until you find the submit button at the end. Alright, so once you're at the very last question of the survey, it's going to ask you some information on the VPAT compatibility of the tool you're reviewing. Now, there is a section on our website which explains what VPAT is. So, once you've answered the question on VPAT, go ahead and click Submit. That'll submit your form, which we can go back and get data from later. Our next video will explain what to do with this data.